Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. On today's show, Michael Saylor predicts Bitcoin to hit 180,000 amidst MicroStrategy's record holdings. Also, is Ripple undermining strategic Bitcoin reserve plans? Here's what's really going on. And also on today's show, Robert Kiyosaki, rich dad, warns biggest stock market crash in history is coming. Says Bitcoin will boom. And later in our Ask AI segment, we're going to compare Chat GPT versus DeepSeek versus Grok. And we're going to get them all to predict the price of Bitcoin in October of 2025. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, Crypto Fam, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is January 28th, 2025, and Bitcoin has bounced a bit since yesterday's DeepSeek entire market crash, but still kind of going sideways. We're going to go through our market watch, our Bitcoin technical analysis, and after our stories, we are going to put the AIs to the test. We're going to compare Grok versus Chat GPT versus the new DeepSeek, and we're going to get a price for Bitcoin from all of them in 2025. So let's get right into it, folks. Today, Bitcoin is a little bit in the red as of right now, but it's pretty much going sideways. Currently at 100 and just under 102,000. Ripple down 2.5% at 31.15. Solana down another 3% at 229. XRP, one of the few in the green right now, only up 0.25% at $3.06. Doge down 2%. Shiba down 3%, it appears. In the crypto bubbles for today, we've got, I would call it about a 80 to 90% red versus green. We've got Move up 18.5%. Trump's parent crypto company dumped some money in there today, so it is on the move. We've got WIF up 7%. Most things in the red. Bonk down 8.5%. Pepe down 7.5%. XCN down 10%. Baby Pengi down 12%. Sui down 12%. Let's zoom out to the week. And we have still more red. Let's not forget where we are, though, folks. For the year, these little blips are definitely going to happen. Down 10%, 20%. In previous cycles, we've seen as much as 30, 40, 50% tumbles in the price, and then it bounces back. So let's keep that in mind. And having said that, if we flip out to the month, we see, XRP up 45%, GT up 50%, XCN still up 1,000% for the month. And if we really want to check out what the market looks like in 365 days, and I keep talking about hodling your crypto, and this is kind of why you do it. Doge up 300%, OM 40,000%, virtual 3,300%, XCN 2,000%, Pepe 1,000%, BGB 1,000%, WIF 300%. You're not going to find this on the S&P, folks. And BTC, let's not forget, 133% for the year. So in that respect, she's a not too bad. Let's get into our market cap watch for the day, and we currently have Bitcoin market cap at 2 trillion and 18 billion, Ethereum at 375 billion, XRP 176.5 billion, Solana 111 billion, lost a little ground, Doge also lost a little ground, 48 billion, Cardano 32 billion, Tron to wrap up the top 10 at 21 billion in market cap. And if we go to our total market cap, we are at 3.4 trillion for the entire crypto market. Bitcoin up in terms of market share at 59.5% of the total crypto market. Ethereum down to 11.05%. XRP up a tiny bit, 5.2%. And Solana kind of going sideways at 3.3% from yesterday. Our crypto fear and greed index, we have a 72 today in greed, yesterday 72 also, and last week an 84 in extreme greed. And we have approximately 1,100 days until the next Bitcoin halving. 168,721 blocks remain until that halving, and until the final block is mined in the year 2140. There are 1,183,504 Bitcoin left to mine. Our global asset watch, we've got gold about even from the other day, maybe up a bit, a mere 100 billion at 18.6 trillion, Apple at 3.6 trillion, Microsoft 3.3 trillion. Nvidia made up a little ground today. It was down even upwards of 15% yesterday. Down 15% yesterday on the stock market. It was up today when I checked, up 10%. So it bounced a bit for sure. And here we go, up 9% to close at 3.158 trillion total market cap. Amazon 2.5 trillion. Google 2.4. The Biddy at 2.018 trillion. Saudi Aramco 1.8 trillion. Silver 1.7. Meta 1.7. Tesla 1.3 trillion. And currently you can get 978 Satoshis for one fiat US paper dollar. And compared to yesterday, in the US national debt clock, we are up about 3 billion in debt since yesterday, currently at 36 trillion 410 billion. That equals to 107,041 per citizen, and per taxpayer $323,045. So the debt keeps going up. A great story coming out of the White House today. I like to see it. The new press secretary really nailed it, coming right out of the hop on their first day. All the leftists and woke media tried to really give her a hard time, but she answered everything with grace, and she really gave it to them, and she stuck to the facts, and everybody was left with their mouths kind of wide open and their tails in between their legs, and I was really happy to see it. I didn't catch the whole thing. I caught some snippets. The big news is they are now going to allow non-official press in the press room. So that means people from, YouTube, Rumble, Twitter. They have to apply on their website, and then they have to go through the security screening and all that. But they are going to choose. They're making a section just for non-traditional media to actually be in the White House for these press conferences, which I think is amazing. It was completely transparent. And again, anything they asked, she answered with grace, with, I would call it sternness. She wasn't phased. She looked powerful. She looked nice. And there was nothing about any kind of semblance or resemblance to the crooked Biden days. Everything was out in the open. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to wait and I'll have to come back to this tomorrow with an answer. No, she was prepared. She gave answers immediately, and she really took it to these guys. So I was happy to see it. It's really interesting what's going on right now in the States, and we're hoping that the economy picks up and financial markets pick up. And, of course, Labidi. Let's hope these are all good things for Bitcoin. I do have one story to share that relates to that. So I'm excited to get into that. It's not really, it's speculative news, but let's get right into it with good old Michael Saylor. And Mikey Saylor once again picked up a whole bunch of Bitcoin yesterday, currently at 471,000 Bitcoins in his company MicroStrategy. And he predicts that Bitcoin is going to hit 180,000 this cycle. So let's get more into it here. Co-founder and executive chairman of MicroStrategy has made a bold prediction on CNBC, forecasting Bitcoin to reach 180,000. He acknowledged the cryptocurrency's volatility, but framed it as a transformative feature. And I agree with that. Volatility is like fire. I love this guy. Henry Ford put fire into a carriage, creating an entire industry. Bitcoin, 24/7 trading and volatility are features, not bugs. Saylor foresees Bitcoin surging to 180,000 before pulling back to 140,000, with these swings reflecting the asset's dynamic nature and growing market acceptance. And here's a chart kind of depicting what he's talking about. So if we go into the months here, this is similar to the kind of double peak that I've been also predicting. So we've got in exactly as I was talking, I was actually talking more like April, May, but he's got June 30th as the first peak, then pulling back a bit to the, so he's got the peak at 175, then it's pulling back to about 150 and change, and then the double peak right at the end of August at 175,000. And here are the numbers. Currently the price is 102,000. The prediction price is 127,000. The high prediction price is 177, and his predicted low is 103,000. MicroStrategy record high Bitcoin holdings. With these bullet forecasts, MicroStrategy announced a significant new acquisition of 10,000 Bitcoins. That was yesterday, and yes, as I mentioned, 471,107 Bitcoins at an average price of 64,000 Bitcoin. The firm has achieved a 2.9% year-to-date BTC yield, so he's already made 3%. And, you know, the S&P, I believe on the year, is up 8%. And I don't think that's including yesterday's fiasco on the markets either. A bold Bitcoin reserve plan for the U.S., adding to the bullish sentiment. Senator Cynthia Lummis has proposed a groundbreaking Bitcoin reserve strategy for the United States. Acquire 200,000 Bitcoins per year for the next 5 years, hold the reserve for 20 years, aim to reduce the U.S. national debt by 50% in 2 decades. The proposal highlights Bitcoin's potential as a tool for economic transformation and fiscal responsibility. Oh, fiscal responsibility. That's what I like to hear. Instead of irresponsibility, taking people's tax money and throwing it away. So this is a nice change. You know, one of the things that came out of that press conference today was they're going to stop sending so much money overseas just to be wasted. They stopped in its tracks as it was about to be sent. $50 million that was being sent to Gaza, specifically to buy condoms. $50 million in condoms. They also stopped $35 million going to the WHO. So they almost saved $100 million of taxpayers' money. I mean, think about it, guys. When you think of fiscal responsibility and, you know, you work hard for your money, and do you really think that we should be sponsoring condoms for $50 million halfway around the world? Furthermore, do we actually think that that money was going to go to condoms? The money was going to get confiscated. The money was going to probably go to some weapons that nobody wants any part of. So I'm glad they're starting to look after every single one of our pennies that we pay into taxes. And we pay so much that I'm glad they're doing this. With rising institutional adoption, ambitious national plans, and optimistic forecasts, Bitcoin's trajectory in 2025 is shaping up to be one of its most defining yet. Yeah, I like that. And I actually agree with it. I think he's being pretty bearish, personally. My prediction is between 300 and here we go. My prediction based on historical patterns is 220,000 as a bear scenario and 380,000 as 377,911 as my bull scenario. Now we've got BlackRock, who's come out and said 500 to 700,000 if some nation state adoption takes place, and they were talking about, you know, if the nation states put 2 to 5% in Bitcoin, we could see 500 to 700,000. Max Kaiser is predicting 2.2 million. A bunch of people online are predicting 1 million. Plan B, his prediction is between 250,000 to 1 million. And he was the one that was closest. He pretty much predicted the last cycle bang on. So, you know, I can't give financial advice, but I can definitely come to a consensus that a lot of people are predicting a much higher price. Much smarter people than me, people that have been in Bitcoin for a long time, people that know the industry, people that have a hell of a lot of money to risk and are vested into this thing. Of course, they want the price to go up, but whether the price goes up or down, to them, it makes no difference. These guys are already whales, multimillionaires. You know, $50 billion, Michael Saylor. You think he cares that much if the price goes to half of what it is? Oh, I only have $25 billion. I mean, come on. So, you know, these guys are smart. They didn't get there for any fluke reason. They worked hard. They made the right moves. And, you know, based on, in most cases, merit. And meritocracy's back, baby. So, you know, work hard, make the good plays, do your research. Dollar cost average into Bitcoin if you're not into it yet. Just the same way you would dollar cost average into the traditional a mutual fund or a index fund or a stock, you could definitely average in to Bitcoin or your favorite crypto. I would suggest Bitcoin in the same method, and that way, your dollar cost averaging, you're going to get it at the lowest price, and you're not dumping in a whole bunch of money all in one shot. And I feel like a lot of people are still skeptical. So a little bit of cash every paycheck, $50. You can start in Bitcoin with $10. All right. And, $10 a paycheck, $10 a week, $50 a week, $100 a week, whatever, a month, whatever is affordable. As long as you hodl and you use this as a savings account, and it's not the kind of thing that you're dipping into an account, saving up and then dipping into it is not investing. Saving up and dipping into it is just another checkings account. If you're going to be doing that type of thing, and let's go back to the main view here. If you're going to be doing that type of thing where you're going to be using your investment account to dip into, this is not an investment account then. If this is the case, what you really want to do is make it reasonable. If you've got $200 a month, let's say, to invest, right? And you want to go on a trip, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car. First of all, get your priorities straight. Secondly, invest and you've got 200 and you think, in 10 years, I want to buy a house. So you take, 150 of that, you put it in a fund for the house. You take 50 of that, you put it in a savings or a Bitcoin or a financial savings dollar cost average, and you do that over time. And when 10 years comes, even if your Bitcoin has gone up, let's say you end up investing 10 grand in it, and suddenly your 10,000 investment over the years turns into $1 million. You still shouldn't look at it like you want to take this money out. You additionally had this other 150 a month that you saved specifically for your house. That is where your money should come out of for the house. If you need to dip a little bit, 20% into the Bitcoin, fine. But any investment needs to continue as an investment. Otherwise, you're not. It's like putting money in under your bed, because if you start dipping into it when you're running low, then it never becomes a long-term investment. And long-term investment, we should be talking about 20 years, 30 years, the kind of investment that can retire you. When I talk about investment, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about day traders where you buy a stock and you sell it this afternoon or 3 days later. And I'm not talking about people who think that they're savvy investors and they'll keep for 2 or 3 years and they'll sell. I'm talking about the pros where their time horizon is literally forever. And there's so many people that started in Bitcoin and started with stocks, with Apple, with Google, with Amazon, with Facebook, and they were so happy they thought they made a killing, and they sold after a couple of years, and I made so much money. And if only they just held on for 15, 20 years, then they really would have made the money. You can find stories like that all over the web from the real rich guys, and what they say is, if only I had just invested more in those new technologies and held on longer, they'd already be retired. Let's move into our next story of the day. Is Ripple undermining strategic Bitcoin reserve plans? Here's what's going on. Yeah, this kind of bothers me too. Ripple's leadership and Bitcoiners are at a standoff over what a U.S. government strategic crypto reserve should look like. The rift is starting to get messy. Yeah, a crypto reserve should look like a Bitcoin reserve. American crypto firms are still basking in their electoral victory after pulling off a remarkable political comeback and gaining influence in D.C. last November. But does a brewing civil war among their ranks now threaten to call the honeymoon off? Last week, President Trump issued a much-anticipated executive order on crypto, making good on a promise to deliver the industry a grab bag of wish list items. While the order thrilled many, it was the document's omission of the single word that threatened to undo a fragile truce amongst crypto competing factions. Bitcoin was that word. Throughout his campaign, Trump vowed to establish a strategic federal Bitcoin stockpile, and those were the words he used originally. Bitcoin stockpile, which would effectively invest the U.S. government in the world's top cryptocurrency. Last week's executive order did indeed call for, among other things, exploring how best to create a federal crypto reserve, but crucially, it referred to a generalized digital asset stockpile and not just Bitcoin. It took mere hours for diehard Bitcoiners to call foul and to point the finger at the party they believed was responsible. I can confirm Ripple is actively spending millions of dollars trying to undermine a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the United States of America. Jack Mallers, CEO of Zap. A Bitcoin payments company declared in an impassioned video uploaded to X shortly after the executive order's publication. This is not just an attack on Bitcoin, but on principles of transparency, unfairness, and our national security, he continued. Soon, other pro-Bitcoin voices in the crypto community piled on, while similar theories. Ripple, which holds tens of billions of dollars worth of XRP, a cryptocurrency its founders helped develop, had done everything in its power to prevent the creation of a federal Bitcoin reserve. The company had allegedly done so to ensure that if a digital asset stockpile were ever established, XRP would be included in it as well. Ripple, so the theory went, was already cashing in its considerable political capital to ensure XRP's enduring relevance in Washington. The company was one of the three crypto-affiliated corporations that led the industry's incredible successful $300 million super PAC strategy last year. Just weeks ago, the firm shelled out $5 million for Trump's inauguration. If someone had successfully lobbied Trump's team to remove the word Bitcoin from its crypto executive order, these Bitcoiners wailed. It had to have been Ripple. Making matters more personal for these Bitcoin maximalists was the perceived difference between the nature of Bitcoin and XRP as assets. A substantial portion of XRP's total supply is held by Ripple, a private company. Indeed, Ripple's history with XRP and its sales of digital assets over the years is the source of the SEC's ongoing $1.3 billion lawsuit against the company. Bitcoiners, meanwhile, pride themselves on their preferred tokens' decentralized ethos. Bitcoin's pseudonymous creator disappeared years ago without a trace, and the cryptocurrency by far the most trusted and widely adopted worldwide is now effectively censorship resistant and it's ownership resistant. Nobody owns it, nobody can censor it. So, I could see why the Bitcoin community here is pissed. We've got Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, wooing the U.S. government and giving money to the super PAC, giving money to the inauguration, sucking up. And why? Because they have so much to gain. They, like every other crypto except Bitcoin, and by the way, there is Bitcoin and then there is cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin was already given the title of commodity, and that's the only company, and that was by the SEC. So everything else is considered cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin is considered Bitcoin. So all the other cryptos, they're all actually owned by somebody. There's somebody who started it, somebody who advertised for it. There was marketing. There was a pre-ICO, a big, hoopla event, getting people to buy into it. And who do you think the first owner of these coins are? It is the founders. So make no mistake, the CEO of Ripple owns a hell of a lot of this XRP, and they would like nothing more than the price of XRP to skyrocket. The price is still cheap. If it's something that you're interested in, by all means, pick some up. But there's only one Bitcoin, and Michael Saylor said it best. They asked him, well, what's the second best crypto? He said, there is no second best. Bitcoin's the best. It's the second best. It's the third best. It's the fourth best. And there is no other coin. So I go along with him, and, XRP, just a bunch of suck-ups. Let's see how it plays out. But I do suspect that after the 180 days are up for this Bitcoin, the investigation to see if it's worth creating a crypto strategic reserve, my thought is it's going to come back transparent, and they're basically going to say, put your money in Bitcoin, and this will be the findings of the U.S. government. And I think at that point, that's when we're going to see this huge pump. And we already figured out that 180 days was mid-June, July, so it's basically half a year. So looking forward to that. We'll see how volatile the market is until then, but it's going to be exciting when it gets close to that deadline. Our next story of the day, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki warns the biggest stock market crash in history is coming. And he also says, but Bitcoin will boom. Let's go through the story. An author of the author of the personal finance bestseller, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, is leaning bearish on the stock market while remaining bullish on Bitcoin. The best-selling author tells his 2.7 million followers on the social media platform X that a prophecy he made of a massive stock market crash in a book he wrote 12 years ago is about to be fulfilled. In Rich Dad's Prophecy 2013, I warned the biggest stock market crash in history was coming. That crash will be in February of 2025. Good news, because in a crash, everything goes on sale. Cars and houses on sale now. Better news, billions will leave the stock and bond market and rush into Bitcoin. Bitcoin will boom, boom, boom. Get on board while you can. Get out of the fake and into the crypto, as well as gold and silver. Even one Satoshi will make you rich, while millions lose everything. According to Kiyosaki, Bitcoin has power because of the two principles governing economics and technology: Gershen's law and Metcalfe's law. On Gershen's law, the best-selling author says, when bad money enters the system, good money goes into hiding. Good money, gold and silver, have been hiding from fake US dollars for years. Today, gold, silver, and Bitcoin are forcing the fake US dollar into hiding. Metcalfe's law, which is apparent in technologies that enjoy network effects, such as social media platforms, states that network's value is directly related to the number of connected users or the size of the network. In the context of Bitcoin, Metcalfe's law has been cited by, among others, Fidelity Investment Global Macro Director Jurien Timmer. Kiyosaki has on various occasions expressed bullish sentiment on Bitcoin. In March of 2024, Rich Dad author predicted Bitcoin would hit 300,000. Bitcoin is currently trading at 101,000 at the time of writing. I could see something like that. I mean, look, DeepSeek and the whole Nvidia and stock market crash yesterday, that just took one company to come out and say, you know, we've created a better AI that's much cheaper to create and it's just as fast. And the whole market went to shit in one day. So we could certainly see something earth changing or earth shattering come up, especially the way things are going, you know, tariffs being threatened, wars going around the world. Even though the current administration wants to end all this stuff, you never know. There could be some craziness before things kind of settle down. And speaking of DeepSeek and world transforming, let's compare now in our segment Ask AI, which we like to do here quite a bit. Yesterday, I went through step by step on how to install DeepSeek and a plethora of I don't know about hundreds, but probably 40 to 50 of your selected or desired local AI models on your computer. So you're not exposing your information to the internet. So you can run these things directly on your computer instead of going to their website and, you know, doing it from there. Like, instead of going to DeepSeek's website, instead install it locally, and then your information is not going to go back to China. It's going to stay within your computer, on your computer, and it technically should not be able to exit your computer. So today we're going to take DeepSeek local, we're going to take Grok, and we are going to take Chat GPT. We're going to ask them the identical questions, and we're going to hit enter pretty much all at once. And the question is going to be based on Bitcoin. Hypothetically, the prompt. Here's the prompt. Hypothetically, what will be the price of Bitcoin in this current halving cycle of 24 to 2028? I am looking for the price of as of October 2025, hypothetically. So we've typed this exact prompt in before, and we know it works. So let's see what the DeepSeek can do for us. So I'm going to start Grok, Chat GPT, DeepSeek, and let's see what comes back. So they're all done, and that was pretty fast. So, interesting. Let's go to the DeepSeek first. In a hypothetical scenario where Bitcoin undergoes a halving cycle from 2024 to 2028, starting point 2024, Bitcoin was around 27,000 in 2023. By the end of 2024, it might have dropped to approximately 14,000. First halving end. Over 1 year in the halving period, Bitcoin would be roughly half its price of 2024, around 7,000 in October, before the next halving of 2031. Okay, you know, no wonder the Nvidia price went back up today. Like, what is this crap? Thus, as of October 2025, Bitcoin may be around 7,000 after the first halving and could rebound before hitting its new lower value in 2031. Actual prices may vary due to market... Like, seriously? This is what it comes back with? Okay, so basically it can't be trusted. Alright, so DeepSeek can't be trusted. It was fast, but it can't be trusted. Interesting, as of January 28th, Bitcoin trading is approximately at 102,000. So this is the first time Chat GPT's ever come back with, without us asking, it actually has come back with the live chart, which certainly, like, come on, DeepSeek. I mean, it makes me want to uninstall this thing. This info is so inaccurate. So, sorry, you lost, DeepSeek, right off the hop. Like, it's just bullshit what you came back with. You don't even know the current price. So let's flip into Grok and bullish factors. Hypothetical price, October 2025. A reasonable speculative range for Bitcoin price would be from around 100 to 200,000, with the potential for higher or lower values depending on market dynamics. The range captures both conservative and optimistic forecasts from various sources without being overly speculative or definitive, acknowledging that cryptocurrency markets are highly unpredictable. Fair enough. At least the price was right, or similar. So optimistic predictions, posts on X from 100 to 238, right in line with my personal prediction. And then let's go over to Chat GPT, and here they talk about, according to a report by ARK Invest, if Bitcoin continues to follow the average pattern of its previous cycles, its price could increase approximately 15 times, reaching around 243,000 during the current halving cycle. Yeah, like ChatGPT and Grok are right in line with my prediction as well. Additionally, Larry Fink's CEO, we already covered this. He's predicting $700,000 if more funds allocate 2 to 5% of their portfolios to the cryptocurrency. He said if more funds, but he specifically said nation states. So there we have it. DeepSeek, you're the big loser here. Again, now I can see exactly. I used it a little. I installed it a couple days ago. And I was asking it simple things. I asked it to do some predictions, and it came back with more of, sorry, I can't do it. But in this case, it tried to come back with a prediction, but the prediction is a bunch of crap. It can't even get any kind of real-time information here on Bitcoin. So ridiculous. Grok and ChatGPT nailed it again. So I'm going to call the winners. Tie goes to both of them. They both are bang on. They both talked about, ensuring that, you take it. Be careful with your investment into Bitcoin because it's highly volatile. But they also came back with what we asked it, which was come back with a hypothetical price. So the kudos and the victory definitely go to Grok and ChatGPT, and boo-hoo to DeepSeek. Ridiculous. A little funny, right? Now, was it fast? Yes, it was fast, super fast. But was it correct? No, it sucked. So I don't know what exactly is going to be happening with NVIDIA. I don't know if people are going to start using the DeepSeek model, which was kind of built from the ground up. I talked about this yesterday, exactly how this was created, or at least what they've divulged about it. If you want more info, you can check out yesterday's video. But in today's test, in terms of predicting the price of Bitcoin, it's shit. Now remember, guys, we talk about money here a lot, and know that money is abundant and money is everywhere. It's time that's scarce. So spend less than you earn. Spend your time wisely. If you make more money all of a sudden, don't start spending more money. Save more money. Start saving when you're young, and you can retire when you're 40, not 60 or 70. And if you've got a great idea, jump on that idea right away. Start that idea today. Stop saving it for tomorrow, because you know what? Tomorrow's never going to come. Start today. Get it wrong a bunch of times, and finally you'll get it right. Edison failed 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Dyson failed 5,000 times before inventing his first vacuum. So get out there and fail, damn it. It's better than not doing it at all. Hopefully you found the stream enjoyable, and if you did, please share, like, comment, and subscribe, and we shall see you on the next stream, folks. Thanks so much for joining Crypto News Global.